Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here you can gain access to a continuously updated sideboard guide and primer on Legacy Doomsday, as well as being able to send private messages. You can join the Patreon by clicking the link in the video description or going to patreon.com/NebelShootMTG. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hello everyone, Martin here back with another Legacy video, and today I am playing Esper Doomsday. I get requests for this, or at least thoughts about, or questions about my thoughts on this deck from time to time, and my thoughts are usually that I think I like this deck, I like the playstyle. It certainly offers up some different choices, like having Teferi in your combo deck is pretty darn interesting, and being able to cast Doomsday at instant speed also pretty amazing. But I tend to not play this very often. Yeah, I mean, I don't think adding the third color weighs up for what you get from white doesn't really weigh up what you lose out on or the opportunity cost of doing so most of the time anyways. But having said that, I think this list is it's a very capable list. I decided to play a list with Tamio and then a pivot sideboard that basically boards into a Monastery Mentor control deck. What's really lovely about Monastery Mentor in Doomsday is that you don't need to board to do the complete swap. You can do that versus the tempo decks of the format if you feel like it. But having adding even just one Monastery Mentor but keeping in the whole Doomsday package is very viable because the Monastery Mentor as a singleton can just be an auxiliary. That was hard to say. Auxiliary win condition. So that's pretty sweet. Also, a thing to note is you'll notice I only have the single Thassa's Oracle, no second Oracle, and no Jace Wielder of Mysteries. I think you can play a second win con in the main deck, but I think having Teferi gives you access in the main deck to ways to beat basically everything. Obviously, it's not always going to pan out, but neither is Jace, and so I think I don't. I was actually playing a list like this, but it had the Jace, and for I eventually just started noticing that it felt like overkill. Like it felt like being too safe to have the Jace as well. Obviously, we run the risk of if having to pitch Thassa to a Force of Will, then suddenly all we can actually win with is the Singleton Street Wraith beatdowns in game one. That's obviously not ideal. Or having the Thassa, whatever, randomly discarded and then Bajuga bogged or something in game one. But I think I'm willing to play with that risk. And yeah, let's go jump into a league. All right, we are on the draw for round one with a turn one semi-protected Doomsday here. I am gonna keep, but we'll have to see what the opponent's up to. It's an Undercity Sewers. Okay, I like that because that means they probably don't do anything else right now, and I get to Doomsday with Days backup. Oh no, and yeah, oh, Reanimator. Here we go. Let's get Underground Sea and hope they don't have double force. Alright, so this resolved. We have to decide now if we think they have days, they don't have days, because I think we can put Force of Will on top of the deck and then spew the pedal here to ponder into Force. But that might also just mean that we're going long on this Doomsday. Like if they then have Wasteland, then the pile also has to contain the basic island. So here, I ponder, I draw Force. Then I untap, I draw basic island, I ponder again. I think I like that. And then we'll put Thassa's Oracle on the bottom with Cavern of Souls on top, and then Edge of Autumn. And if they daze this If they daze this Ponder, I'm gonna daze right back, I think. Okay, but they didn't. Alright, let's draw Force of Will. Pass. Okay, that wasn't a Wasteland, so that was good. I can keep up double daze, or I can speed this up by casting Ponder. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. And best thing to do here, I think, is just draw the Cavern of Souls, probably. Yeah, let's try that. Like, if I draw Edge of Autumn instead, then they Thoughtseize me, I just cycle the Edge, and it costs me my Underground Sea, and then they still can't, like, Thoughtseize Cavern of Souls, but I don't know. They fetch just for Underground Sea. We're also at a point where, like, them reanimating the Archon doesn't really matter, most likely. Basic Swamp. Just have the slightest uncertainty if this is actually, like, Dimir Reanimator with the tempo, or if this is a more sort of committed combo deck, because we've not seen a single play. But I'm not convinced either way. Okay, I'm going to name Wizard with this Cavern, and I'm going to cycle. Yeah. For a second, I was like, am I supposed to cycle sacking the Underground, see if they have, like I don't know, Nimble Obstructionist for this or something? But obviously, they would save that for the Oracle. If they're playing main deck Consign Memory, I guess I'm toast. All right, they concede. All right, I think I'm gonna do the whole like sideboard pivot here. So everything except the Force of Negations probably come in. And that means we're cutting the Doomsdays, we're cutting the Edge of Autumn, we're cutting the Dark Rituals. Dark Ritual isn't that great when you're not playing like Barrogoyf or Shuldred. We're cutting the Lion's Eye Diamond, cutting the Thassa's Oracle, and the Consider, and I think we keep the rest as is. Having only one Nihil Spellbomb, like one graveyard interaction piece here is maybe a little bit, yeah. I will keep this hand. I don't like that they can like discard the Mentor and then he possibly gets reanimated, but we'll have to deal with that as it comes up. That was awkward. The old Miracle Triumph here. I'm just gonna pass. Keep my options open. Lorien Revealed cycled. See, now that is not something I would expect to see in Reanimator, but they did show us like no deck that is not Reanimator would have Archon. I think so. They are Reanimator. What is this? Diabolic Vision. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on top of your library in any order. I guess that's okay. I don't think I've ever seen this card. It looks like it's from like Alliances or Ice Age or something. Has a quote from Limdul. I think I'm going to Brainstorm end of turn here. Fetch Tundra, cast Brainstorm. Hope to find third land. Maybe find a Force of Will. And then I'm going to put back Triumph and hope that they don't wasteland me on the next turn cycle. Okay. So I guess this is pretty sweet, but it doesn't let you like get rid of any of the 5 cards. If you can't shuffle, you'll be drawing all of them, but I guess you'd probably be able to get rid of like do something with your deck that shuffles in like that many turns. Okay. We don't find yeah, unfortunately we don't find a third land. Okay, I guess I will just put back the 2 white creatures. I'll be drawing the Mentor now. And then I think I probably cast Tameo and Thoughtseize on this turn. Maybe I start with Thoughtseize, and then if I really need to, I can like try and Hail Mary, like Ponder for Force of Will. Let's Thoughtseize. Okay, so after a very long pause. Okay, so this is sort of a Dimir Show and Tell deck. Wow, okay. Well, I think then I'm going to take Force of Will. And then I'm going, like, they probably have a show and tell on top. I suppose I could also take, I could take the Emrakul and shuffle the deck. That leaves them with a Force of Will. And, like, Shouldred coming down in a couple of turns, I guess. How does this one work again? When they go into combat, they may reveal the top card. If it's a creature, they can copy it. And then they can, like, combine that with Limdal's Vault and find a creature to put on top. That's pretty sweet. I think I take Force of Will and then probably okay, first things first. I'm not gonna go for the Triumph here. I am just gonna shuffle that. And so I can daze. What's this? Keen Duelist. I remember this one. Yeah. Okay. So now they can Limdal's Vault on their next upkeep. Um So I sideboarded obviously completely incorrectly here. I'm gonna brainstorm, see if I can. Okay, the Flusterstorm is somewhat acceptable here. I can fluster the Limdal's Vault. You interpret real cards from the top of your library. You lose life equal to the mana value of the real card. And then you put the card in your hand. So maybe I put like Terminus on top. And they take 6. I guess the Terminus actually is also just an answer to the Duelist. Let me just make sure. At the beginning of your upkeep, you and your opponent reveal the top card. You each lose life. You each put your real card in your hand. I guess I'll reveal the Force of Will to deal 5 and then put that in my hand. But maybe that's just too greedy because if they have... Do I know every card in their hand? I think I do, so they can't have a Force of Will. Alright, screw it. I am just gonna do the thing here. Put back Terminus and Force of Will. And I'll pass. And now, okay, they choose not to trigger. Oh, is this because they know what's coming? Right, okay. Right. Ouch. And then I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, no, I kind of lost track of the fact that they knew the top of their deck. Okay. Well, at least we know that we were up against a completely different deck than we thought we were. So let's put back this Doomsday package. Put in the Force of Negations. Get rid of all the plows. I mean, they did show us Shouldred and the Duelist. Let's at least get rid of the Prismatic Endings, Triumph of St. Catherine. I'm safe to go down to 1 Monastery Mentor. I'll board out On Earth. I think I'll board out Nihil Spellbomb. They probably, or at least conceivably, could be on some number of Reanimates. I'll board out a Mishra's Bauble here. Yeah, maybe Mentor is just not what this game is going to be about. And so I can probably board out like a couple of more baubles, maybe all the baubles. I really do like Teferi. I think like Tamio is obviously pretty cool. Maybe we get rid of the Lines at Diamond and consider. Even though like with Teferi it's not completely unreasonable to be doing that. Okay. Oh, I still have the basic planes, which I don't need. I'm gonna mulligan this full house and keep this. Keep and put away Terminus, I think. Or is it Lotus Petal? No, it's Terminus. Alright. Let's cast Tamio. And I am just gonna brainstorm right away. That was good. Let's hide Doomsday and a land, I guess. And we'll plus the Tamio. So now they're under a clock here. A Tamio clock. Thoughtseize. Yep. They do take Ponder. They don't know that we're not drawing a blue card here. Play the Flooded Strand plus Tameo. I mean, they could be playing Bowmasters. I'm not sure if I'm going to like respect that. Okay, that's a Brainstorm. Ironically, Doomsday in my hand, like, or rather, resolving a Doomsday before ultimating Tameo is like really not very good. I guess you still draw. Is it rounded up or rounded down? Rounded up. Okay, so you would draw 3 cards. I guess that's still good, but I will draw the Doomsday. And plus Tameo. And I will just pass here with Force of Negation up. They kept a card on top. Scary. This looks like a show and tell. Oh, it's the Vesuvian Drifter? Yeah, and they know the card from the Brainstorm, right? Well, I have no answer for that in any way, in any case. So what happens here? It becomes a copy of what? Of nothing. Okay. I guess they lose then. Let's fetch Undercity Sewers. And I'll draw the land. I guess maybe that was just silly. I'm going to draw lands anyway. Yep. Let's draw a million cards. Yep. Oops, I clicked on playing a land by mistake. I don't think it matters. Let's see here. We cast out the Lotus Petal. I guess I'm going to Thoughtseize them here. And then I might actually just play Teferi, bounce the Drifter. And then win on my next turn. Completely protected from everything. Force of Will, Design a Memory, and Torpor Orb. And they're tapped out. Okay, I'm just going to take the Torpor Orb. And then I'm going to cast Teferi. Oh wait, I have nothing more to fetch here. That's hilarious. Oh no, I have the basic planes. Basic planes for the rescue. They'll force here and I'll daze it. Force pitch consign. Daze. The opponent is hanging in there. Playing on. I bounce the Drifter and draw what? A Tameo. I'll just pass here. Play the Misty Rainforest. They play the Drifter. I will Force of Will that. Pitch Ponder. And now they pass, and I'm just gonna put Doomsday on the stack and win. Second Petal is nice. Plus my Teferi in case for some reason I would want to sorcery speed. Instant speed sorcery, I mean. Cast Doomsday. We can take Edge of Autumn. And the rest doesn't really matter. Yeah, okay, opponent concedes. Sweet, off to a winning start. Let's go for round number 2. All right, on the play for round number 2. Yeah, I'll keep this. So we can choose between keeping up Flusterstorm or trying to stick a Tameo. I think I want to stick Tameo. I'm going to get Underground Sea because we're going to be vulnerable to Wasteland anyways. Tameo's in. Oh, Caracas. And a plow? That's interesting. They plow this rather than Caracas it. I don't get that. So I can daze here and that buys me a clue. But it also sets me back a land. I think I am gonna daze here. Maybe if the opponent doesn't realize this works. Maybe I like top deck a Brainstorm here. Okay, I don't. I think I pollute a Delta here and get my Surveil equity if nothing else happens. That was a really interesting play. Okay, here comes a fetch land. Maybe they have Bowmasters. Plateau, okay. Guide of Souls, okay. Guide of Souls is in. This is not a matchup where I want to be. I forgot to surveil. Great. It's not a matchup where I want to be like a fair creature deck. Alright. Are they gonna let me get to combat here? That would be super interesting. Okay, they did not. Right, pass the turn, I guess. Thoughtseize. I think I will force of will that. I could fluster, but that just taps them out. I think I force pitching probably the Tameo because they have the Karakas, but like Flusterstorm is looking less and less interesting also. Voice of Victory, yeah. Now Flusterstorm is just a dead card. And they didn't attack because they're maybe worried about Bowmasters. So it's between surveilling and cracking the clue. I think I can crack the clue at any time, but like imagine hitting Doomsday right now off of this surveil. Don't think I want the snow-covered swamp. Hey, look at that. Okay, so I oh, it's like if I Doomsday here. Oh, never mind. Like I was gonna say if they Thoughtseize me, but I'm playing Unearth in this list, so that's actually okay. I drop to 8. They can't deal me 8 with these two creatures and play next turn. I don't think. I forget how these creatures work. Whenever this creature attacks, create 2 tapped attacking 1/1 creatures. Okay, so this actually is a like 3 power showing, and this says whenever you attack, pay 3, then you may put 2+1 counters on it. So if this attacks, like if they somehow get 2 more energy, then they can get 2 more power with this, so this would be 6, and this would also represent 6, so that's still not lethal. I'll be at 8. Let's get Unearth in the pile in case we get Thoughtseize next turn. I guess consider Edge of Autumn and what, Street Wraith plus something else? Like Cavern of Souls maybe? So basically, if they Thoughtseize me here, I'll play Consider, I'll end up with Unearth in my hand. Like if they don't Thoughtseize me, I will cast Consider. How much mana will I have? I have 3 lands. Because they probably can play stuff like they could have another Plow here. This is the best way to spend my pile. Let's say we draw Consider. That's the card we're going to draw no matter what. Then we consider away like Cavern of Souls. I could also be at 2 life next turn, at which point the Street Wraith is not good enough. What if I draw Cycler, Cavern? That way I could... Yeah, Cycler, Cavern lets me keep up a blue mana for the Flusterstorm for like a Plow. But that means the Consider shouldn't be here, I think. But so if I do that, Cycler, Cavern. But then if they Thoughtseize me next turn, then I go Cycler, Cavern, draw a card with the clue, which is then the Unearth. Yeah. I can't work out if there's a clever way to get to the bottom of the pile. Like if I had a third Cycler, the Consider would just be that, I think. Alright, I'm going to do this. Obviously, if they put 6 power on me, then I'm going to regret this, but I'm hoping they can't do that. So, Consider on the bottom, then Unearth, then the Cavern, then the 2 Cyclers. I guess if they put 6 power on me, then I go Cycler. That draws the Street Wraith, but then I draw with a clue, and then I draw the Cavern. Okay, this is a Guide of Souls. So now they have 2 energy. If they can get a 3rd energy, then we have the aforementioned 6 power. Oh wait, hang on, am I just dead? Does the creatures that come in here trigger this? Oh my god, this is so gross. Whenever a creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Yeah, okay. So now they have the 6 energy. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Well, they have lethal now. Lethal for Xaxes. Yeah, I think this is like something that typically happens with, you know, boomer or whatever we're called. You know, people like me who play esoteric old formats and not. I never play with, or I rarely play with creatures. So when new creatures come in, I mean, it was just there face up, and I guess I just didn't read it. Okay, so moving on here, we want the terminus for sure. Maybe we want a mentor just to have that as a thing. I don't think we want to try and go 1-for-1 removal here. I think basically we want to try and win fast with Doomsday. Tameo seems very, very weak here. Maybe like even board out all the Tameos. That puts us at exactly 20 blue cards, which isn't a lot, but then we can board into two removal spells. Maybe we make it one plow, one pending if they have something like Deafening Silence or something we might care about. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, I think this is a keep. It's slightly awkward here, but we could we can Flusterstorm a Thoughtseize, and then hopefully this brainstorm can dig us like towards where we want to be at. All right, we just play the Delta and pass. Guide of Souls, huh? Okay, I think I surveil here, and then I brainstorm and see if I can find either something that wins me the game or a white land that lets me prismatic ending that. Days. I don't think I want days. Ponder. I guess maybe ponder is better if there is no land in the top three cards, which there is not. Shit. But there is a dark ritual and a force of will. Can I get away with this? I'm gonna risk it. Like if they have a wasteland, we just flat out lose. But if they don't, we get to cast Doomsday next turn, and we have force of will to buy us over here. Okay, that was not a wasteland. Here's hoping for just one threat. Oh, Thoughtseize, I hate you. Okay. Force pitch to Teferi. Could have Pyroblast here. That would be kind of rough. Ocelot Pride. They gain one life. That also triggers this. So the question is if I can survive. I'll be at 8 again. If they can deal me lethal next turn. I could try and brainstorm here to hit. No, I don't think so. Because then if I hit a land, then I can't cast Doomsday. I think what we have to do here is aim for the stars and hope to make it through their next turn and then win. Okay, so I think we want the Terminus, we want the Tundra, I guess we want the Cavern, and the Thassa, and what, a Mishra's Bauble maybe? Okay, so I draw for turn, I draw the Tundra, I cast Brainstorm, I draw Bauble, Terminus, Cavern. Maybe that's, I'm not sure if that's even good enough, but it might be. All right, let's try this. Maybe the Cavern's supposed to be Edge of Autumn, and we just expect that they don't have a Pyroblast in their deck. The Pyroblast gets the Brainstorm anyways. Yeah, let's put Thassa on the bottom still, because if this even, like, I'm kind of expecting them just to have lethal next turn, but if somehow they do not, oops, let's draw the Tundra, right? Yeah. Yeah, because if they don't, then at least like we'll get an untap where we have the prismatic ending maybe to kill something they redeploy. But let's see here, they might just have us. They have this is 3 power, but if they have one, they get one more energy. They get like boost for 2 more. Okay, that did not look like that's what happened. What has first strike? Oh, that one has first strike. Nice. Okay, Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy is good here. It's going to get something. Probably gets the Brainstorm, which is going to slow everything down. Like, if they hit here, then that's really bad. But even if they don't hit, they can flash it back, and they probably take Brainstorm. Maybe I'm just saying that because that's the card I'm most worried that they'll take, but you know, I don't know. It's tricky. I also I think made a pretty big punt in that I put Terminus above the Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, there was no world in which that makes any sense, and they do snipe the Brainstorm. So now I am in a lot of trouble. If they take the Prismatic Ending on the flashback here, I might just be dead. Wasteland, huh? Okay. Now if they have a second Wasteland that also kills me. Um, the chosen card is what? Thoughtseize. Why did? Okay, I think that must have been a misclick. And I am dead now. They can just flash this back. Yeah, whatever. Okay, GG's opponent. Yeah, that was not pretty. I was kind of close games, I think. Yeah, maybe not though. Like they did get like they did put me in a position where I ended up doomsaying pretty awkwardly. All right, off to round number 3. Okay, on the draw for round number 3 rather. Yeah, let's keep this. Turn to Doomsday. We can play out a Tameo. We have options. It's the polluted Delta mirror here. Okay. I think I will I'll play this Tameo or a Tameo. I'll play out my pedal. It's kind of giving away that we're not Demir Reanimator or Demir Tempo, but alright, I'll bobble them as well. I could also wait actually and bobble them on their draw step. That way bobble can trigger Tameo next turn. Like on my turn. I think I like that. Makes it a little bit worse if they're playing Bowmasters. They do probably get a Survey land here. That also increases the bobble value a bit. They keep the card on top, so let's see what it is. It's a Brainstorm. Okay. Yeah, I would keep that too. But they start off with a Ponder. Okay. Maybe that means they don't have their second land drop. Okay. They don't shuffle. They have Wasteland. Okay. So I get to draw here. I have my second land drop. Another land here. That's nice. And Force of Will. Okay, so I do get to I do get to flip Tameo. It's gonna cost me my pedal, but that is sort of bought back by this clue. I think I do end up doing that probably. I'll get basic island here. I can fetch off of or just get the basics here. So this clue draws and flips Tameo. I'm gonna plus her, and I think I cash in this bauble right now while there's still no Bowmasters coming. And we see what they kept on top. Oh, it's Entomb. Alright. Well, if they have Daze plus Entomb Reanimate here, they do get us. Alright, now they don't get us anymore. They can at most resolve Entomb here. They do find their fetch land. If they Entomb, I'm gonna let it go. I don't want to get blown out by Daze. Thoughtseize. Okay. Thoughtseize is good. Thoughtseize probably takes Force of Will here. Might take Doomsday, but I'm pretty far off casting Doomsday. Either thing they take, I can just buy back with my Tameo, so that's nice. I think my plan is probably going to be to cast second Tameo next turn, and then just like get into a grinding advantage holding pattern. Another land is not the best, right? I think I will return Force of Will here, and I'll replay my other Tameo. Or not replay. I'll play it, and we'll pass. Now, like, reanimate plus double days would get me here. Well, not reanimate, like entomb, then reanimate, then double days. And they do not shuffle. Okay, they find their second, or their third land, rather. Thoughtseize me. They probably have to take Force now, if their plan is to combo, because, like, it's... Oh, they take Doomsday. Okay, never mind. Maybe their plan is not to combo anymore. Maybe they found, like, Murktide plus Force of Will or something. I will get Undercity Sewers here. I might find Teferi, at which point I'll be fetching into non-basics anyways. If not, then I still have the ability to get basic swamp here. I guess you can come up with worse cards than Ponder. Alright, let's plus Planeswalker Tameo, attack with Creature Tameo, get our clue, and I'm gonna Ponder here, I think. Not at risk of triggering the flip here. Ironically, I don't really want Brainstorm. I think I want the Daze, though. At worst, it's a card I pitch to the Force, and then I can cast Consider. Alright, we pass. Like, if they go for Entomb right now, okay, they didn't, but then Daze is also pretty sweet. They put a Underground Sea into the graveyard off the Surveil. There is Murktide. I'm going to force it. And now I have the Daze for the random Reanimate here, or the Entomb, I guess. I think I do Daze that. Like, taking 7 to reanimate a 3/3 Flying Murktide is not the most scary thing you can tell me you'll be doing. Alright, I think I get Scrubland here. The clue. There's also a world where I'm supposed to like minus Tameo next turn, get the Force of Will back, and then I'll eventually have another Planeswalker Tameo. And I think I might just want to be doing that. Some Dark Rituals. Don't think I want those. The third or the fourth land might have been good. I get that there. Alright, I am actually going to return Force of Will. And then I'm going to attack with Tameo. And I'm not going to flip her here. I don't want to suddenly make Daze a good card over there if they have one. Let's pass. Okay, there's Entomb. Okay, I'll let that go. Now if they have double Reanimate or something, I get massively punished, but hey, it is what it is. 2 Thoughtseizes in exile. I'm just thinking like they could have Thoughtseize into Reanimate. Okay, Brainstorm. Yeah, I let that go. If both of them are good, I might be in trouble here. Okay. I'm gonna flip the clue, or crack the clue. They could have like Bowmasters plus Daze. That's the worst thing that could happen here. Okay. I draw Cavern. Not terribly exciting. Dark Ritual. Okay, so I'm gonna attack with Tameo. And then what? I think I cast Ponder here. I have to find a second blue card. And I do. So that's pretty good. I think I want the Bauble more than I want the... I guess I'll draw all of this. Okay, so let's... we crack the clue. That flips Tameo. We plus Tameo. And then next turn, we buy back the Doomsday. I could also unearth my Creature Tameo, but that... I don't think I'll be doing that. This looks like a second Murktide. And they exile... You can't tell. It looks like they exiled 5 spells here. So, if I minus Tameo next turn, and then, like, the Bauble then becomes kind of do nothing, right? But I could exile Tameo. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands with Cavern, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. That's 4 mana left. And then I cycle the Unearth, draw 2 other cyclers, and then I have Force of Will to not lose to, like, then I would lose to Daze plus Fatal Push, I guess. I think it's fine. I think I'm gonna let this go. But then I have to crack Bauble now. Like, I can't Doomsday and pass, so that's just not gonna be a thing. Brainstorm on top of their deck. We draw a Lotus Petal. Oh, okay. I forgot that, or maybe I don't know if I knew that was coming. I think I did know. Okay, so Tameo, return Doomsday, please. So now we no longer lose to the Daze Fatal Push. I guess we would lose to 2 Fatal Pushes here. Oh, Force of Will. Well, Force of Will. Okay, so now we just win. Cast the Doomsday. We want Thassa. We want the 2 cyclers. We could put in a land here. We could empty the deck now that we know what the opponent has. Our Consider, I think, is in exile, but alright, let's just see here. So I'll have these 4 lands and my land drop and a Lotus Petal. So I will tap Scrubland plus Basic Island to cycle Unearth. That draws me Edge of Autumn. Edge of Autumn into Ponder. Ponder, then at this point I will have 1 untapped source. So I'll cast Ponder off of that, draw the Street Wraith, cycle Street Wraith into Thassa, and then fetch. Yep. Be aware, because I wasn't at one point, that flipped Tameo does not have a mana symbol, so it doesn't count towards devotion. I guess I can just start off with the Ponder. So cycle this, we draw the Ponder, we cast the Ponder, we draw the Cycler, we don't shuffle, play the Lotus Petal, fetch, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, that was game 1, I believe. So long game 1 here. Opponent and I are both pretty far down on the clock. So this is Reanimator. Let's do the thing where we board in all the white cards. And let's board out the Doomsday and the Dark Ritual. Package. Lines that I'm in can go. Consider can go. Thassa's Oracle can go. And I think that's it. I shall be keeping this hand of pretty nice cards. I would love to have been on the play here, but it is what it is. Putting mulligans to 6. Swamp here, okay. Thoughtseize. Well, they probably, well, they take the best card here, right? So if their hand has Entomb in it, they probably take the Spell Bomb. If their hand has like a Tameo in it or another creature, they take the Plow. Is my guess. Okay, they do take the Spell Bomb, and we have no way of rebuying that, so it's not ideal. That was pretty good. So this Marsh Flats can get basic plains, and this Flooded Strand can get Polluted Delta, or well, a basic island. We could also be bobbling ourselves here. I think I wait until their turn to pop this bobble, because I don't want to draw into a discard spell. Let's see what they're drawing. They're drawing a Brainstorm. That's a good card, especially if they have blue mana. They do. They ponder instead. Reasonable. And they don't shuffle. Okay. I think I just take my draw step here. I draw Thoughtseize. Now I'm kind of torn between, like, do I get non-basics here? Thoughtseizing them is pretty interesting. I think, shoot, I don't know. I think I do get non-basics. I get the Tundra with the other fetch land and play Tameo in a sec. This means I don't put down lane 2 in response. I think I have to force this. Yeah, they have the Animate Dead. Okay, I take the Brainstorm. That leaves them with Animate Dead plus a fetch land. Hopefully that is going to be good enough here. Obviously, if they just draw another Entomb here off the top, tippity top of their deck, we are in a lot of trouble. But I still think I take the Brainstorm there. And they have their own Tameo. They know I have Plow, so... Oh, Flusterstorm is nice. Okay, I am going to attack here. And I am actually going to hold off the Plow for their upkeep, because they can't Brainstorm in their upkeep, but that means Plow builds Storm for Flusterstorm in case they draw Entomb here. Fatal Push. How about that? Flusterstorm. That's pretty big, because they'd be able to Animate Dead my Tameo. Force of Will. That's good, especially if I can like draw a card here and find a blue card with my clue. Attacking with Tameo and cracking a clue right away, I think makes sense. Okay. We'll play this, and I I don't think we want Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, no, let's not draw that. Okay, we have to fade removal or like entomb here. Or surveil land, finding one of their 2 creatures. Oh, they put the card on top. That's so scary. Brainstorm, okay. That's a lot of looks. I mean, even if they find the push now, I guess like the enemy dead is the problem, but if my Tameo doesn't do anything else here, it will still have generated some clues, which is why Tameo is really good. Wasteland. Well, that's not the most scary thing. Yep, they get rid of Tundra. That's the one that makes me... Okay. That's the one that gives them, or gives me potential Doomsday. Okay. Monastery Mentor. That is very interesting. Alright, Tameo attacks. I honestly think I'm supposed to push, push, no pun intended, play the Mentor here. There's no days. Like, if they have removal plus animate dead on it, then that's obviously, that sucks a lot, but if I can get to my turn here and like have 2 mana to crack clues, and I do get to do that, sweet. Okay. Do I proactively crack a clue here? I think I do. Like I might find a bauble here or something and get a trigger out of the mentor. Okay, if they have a response, they crack a clue, sure. Okay, blue card. I love that. I immediately feel a lot better. Okay, we know their hand, animate dead and 2 unknowns here, and they can draw up to a 3rd unknown. Ponder. Okay, so now they can flip Tameo. I would have had to force of will that, but I don't think, like, if they flip Tameo, I think there's a pretty real chance that Tameo dies next turn. I guess I would need to trigger Mentor multiple times, but yeah, we'll see. Like, we don't want them to start rebuying spells from their graveyard. Fatal push on my Tameo. Is this worth a force of will? I don't think it is. Like, it already generated a bunch of value. Now that's nice. That's a nice card. I'm gonna get basic planes here. I don't want them to be able to like get me here, so like get me off of white. Teferi triggers the monks, and Teferi is in. I'll bounce your Tameo. I could have bounced the clue, I guess. And let's attack. When mentors attack. Yep, you have a Tameo. I guess I'll... No, I'm not going to force a brainstorm, I don't think. Entomb, sure. It's all good. We know they have the animate dead, but they're about to be animate dead, if you know what I mean. Alright, let's plus Teferi. Let's kill Tameo. Get some triggers. And I think I will fetch here and like then plow, or then crack a clue. Because if I do find a plow, I want to be able to have the white mana open. I guess that was maybe a punt if I draw Thoughtseize. Yeah. Okay. And let's attack. Alright, so now they need Thoughtseize plus, well, they have the animate dead, but they need to find a Thoughtseize. And if they do, the game goes on. Animate dead. Womp womp. I think that does it right, because like I don't think they play more than 1 copy of this. And reanimate is off the table. Alright, cool. 2-0. On to the next round. Alright, on the draw for round number 4. Yeah, I'll keep this hand. Single, well, I was gonna say single land, you know what I mean? Cavern Souls. Not really counting there. That's probably fine. Opponent is down to 6 cards here, okay. Well, it's another blue deck. Okay, Dragon's Rage Chandler. Right, so this is it Dark Ritual? I like that. I'm gonna ponder here off of Basic Island. That way we are actually only, like, we need to find a Doomsday and a black mana source. The days here, that's actually kind of annoying. I could go for Tameo off of Cavern next turn, kind of pivot there. But is that really something I'm interested in? I mean, I suppose. And then do I want the Street Wraith or the Ponder in my as my next draw? The Street Wraith, like if they bobble us, they would have bobbled if they had a bobble, so I don't think they have a bobble. I don't mind leaving Street Wraith on top because I think I would actually want Street Wraith in my hand. Alright, cool, pass. Not sure this is a winning approach, but getting to flip Tameo, like, and having her in play uncounterably is pretty interesting. We take one here. Okay. Basic Island. Alright. So this is where we incidentally get some equity out of Tameo and Thassa sharing a card type. And I'm not gonna do anything right now. And even if, like, if they lightning bolt her, I think I might just flusterstorm that because I would be worried about days. Okay. Dragon's Rage Chandler attacks. I'm gonna chump block here. They are a mile away from getting Delirium. And I guess if they have Unholy Heat, but like I have the Flusterstorm. That does appear to be what's happening. Okay, so let's so I guess if they have like Force plus days here, they get to kill Tameo, but I think I'm okay with that trade. Well, there's a very long pause here, which makes me think they do have options probably. They might be able to, like, if they have Force plus days here, or like Spell Pierce, I don't know. Okay, so they float mana to pay for one copy, I guess. Oh, what am I even talking about? Days just gets me here. Okay, yeah. I am not always a smart man. Alright, so Flusterstorm is countered, and Unholy Heat kills Tameo. And now they have Wasteland, okay. Alright, I think I'm going to ponder here, and just count my blessings that Dragon's Rage Chandler is still just a 1-1. If they have a second days here, that's pretty brutal. But then again, like, then I'll have to get through it anyways. Yeah, okay. They can find a creature here? They don't, but they leave a card on top. Okay, Ponder is countered. I'll pass here. Draw a fresh card, and then I can cast Brainstorm. Okay, now they have Delirium. Oh no, hang on, they don't actually. That's funny. They don't have a sorcery. Interesting. Okay. They leave a card on top of their deck. They have a basic island in their hand, right? I believe that's true. And Delver, okay. And so they draw cards that their hand's basic island plus one card. Do I take a shot with the Brainstorm here? I think I do. Oh, God. Yeah, that needed to hit Doomsday. Could be worse here, I guess. Let's put away the Thoughtseize and the Tameo. And then we ponder on my next turn. Like, I am still just Doomsday away from an apparent victory here. We'll see here. They're going to flip the Delver. No, hang on. That's not how that works. They didn't ponder. They kept a card on top with Bobble, and now they don't flip Delver. Okay. Somehow, it's turn 5. They have cast like a lot of spells, and they aren't delirious here. Maybe this guy, yeah, okay. Now they do get to become delirious. They decline to shuffle. 2 cards in the hand. Yeah, they wouldn't shuffle because they want to flip Delver here, so almost anything that does that, I think they would keep. Do I keep... Do I try and play a Tameo as like a chump blocker? Probably not. I think I'm supposed to ponder here. Alright, I'm gonna take the polluted delta and pass. And then this flip here will inform my decision. Lightning bolt, damn. That takes me to this attack takes me to 7. That pretty much means I am shit out of luck. Probably anyways. I think I take the ponder here and cast the ponder. There is a Doomsday. So I cast Doomsday. That takes me to 3. Then I cycle Street Wraith. Well, I'm gonna take this Doomsday. That was sort of what needed to happen here. Their hand is Lightning Bolt plus 2 unknowns, so I don't think I can do anything here that beats a counterspell of any kind. And I'm not sure I can beat Lightning Bolt. Let's think about it. So the problem is I can't Force of Will because that's going to take me to 0 life. So let's say that I fetch down a 6, Dark Ritual, cast Doomsday. Now I have just a Lotus Petal and I guess I would have to play out Lines of Diamond first. So I have Lines of Diamond and Lotus Petal. So that's 4 mana. And so I need 1 to cast Consider, 2 to cast Thassa, and 1 to cast a Flusterstorm. Would that work? Well, I think I'm going to try it out. Let's cast the Lightning Bolt, or the Lines of Diamond. I mean, I don't think they have anything here that interacts with that. If they just have Force here, that sucks. Okay, so we got to resolve Doomsday. But now the problem becomes, like, if the opponent is patient, they'll get to just win. Let's see. It might not matter at all. Alright, so how does this work? Let's say that Daze is the bottom card. And then there's Thassa, Edge of Autumn. And then like Flusterstorm Daze. I think I have to make the second Daze a second copy of Flusterstorm, but then that gives it away, that it shows them the Flusterstorm. Okay, so let's just let's wait before clicking on the Flusterstorm, because that's going to light up green once they see it. But let's say I have 2 Flusterstorms, and I have a Daze on the bottom, then Thassa, then Edge, then 2 Flusterstorms. So I cycle, or rather I cast Consider, and I don't crack the LED. No, I don't think I can do that. I think I have to cycle Street Wraith and hope they just bolt me. If they wait with the bolt, then I'm dead. Either way, I think. Because if they don't bolt me, then I'll draw let's say the Flusterstorm, and then it kind of doesn't matter from there. So yeah. So the last card can just be a blank. Yeah, I have to cycle Street Wraith, then they have to bolt me, then I go consider away Teferi, I draw Flusterstorm. I'll have sacked my LED by then, like with my Consider on the stack, and then I draw. Then like Consider resolves first. That puts away Teferi. I draw the Flusterstorm, fluster their bolt. My Street Wraith Cycler resolves, and that draws me the Edge. Yeah, let's try this. I don't have high hopes. A lot of stuff gets me here. Okay, Daze on the bottom, like we said. Thassa, Edge. And then, yeah, Teferi has to be the top card. Cycle Street Wraith. Come on, bolt, bolt, bolt. I'll concede as soon as they just let this resolve, the cycling ability. Yeah, alright, GG's. Alright, now the question is, do I want to try and go for like Doomsday without showing them the pivot here? I think I do. So I think I'm just going to resubmit and not really add anything here and hope to like get a turn 1 or turn 2 Doomsday with protection. Then obviously like consigned memory is a problem, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yay! Wow! 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 That, talk about a beast of a hand. I mean, this still will lose to consigned memory plus backup here, but that this is more or less just exactly what the doctor ordered. And I'll fight with Days Before Force. That protects my Underground Sea from a wasteland. All right, let's get Thoughtseize. We need Cavern of Souls. We need Thassa, and then I think we just need a fetch land and a basic island. So obviously, if opponent wastelands us, that makes the Thoughtseize on like useless. I think I'm actually going to draw. No, I guess I don't know. Do I draw the Thoughtseize first? I think actually I'm going to draw the basic island, or the fetch land, I mean. Alright, so let's put basic island on the bottom, then Cavern, Thassa, and then Flooded Strand. Like, if they wasteland us here, I really want to get Flooded Strand and just cast Ponder. They have a bauble, they'll see Flooded Strand coming. Okay, so that is a wasteland. Alright, I will fetch Ponder here. Obviously, Tamio would also be a consideration. And I will actually draw the Cavern now, and then draw Thassa. If they tap, they don't know I'm sitting on a daze here. If they tap out, then that's pretty awesome. They probably won't, but like even if they don't, like 1 mana, I might be able to. No, I wouldn't go for it then, if that was the case. Yeah, just let go. Brutal. All right, I have to pass here. If their hand contains consigned memory and now a second land after this, and they leave up 2 mana, then they probably have me. And I'm keeping back the Tamio obviously to pitch to Force so that I have Force plus days. Okay, they mill over a DRC. I suppose there's a world where we put in like okay, I like this. I like them tapping here. That's pretty good. That means they cannot replicate the they can't replicate the thing, the consigned memory, which I do think is probably the only thing they could have that beats us here. There's a fringe possibility they have a stifle. Oh, they're just passing? Well, then I don't know what they could have. Alright, so this is so super sweet. This gambit completely paid off. Being results biased, I'm obviously thinking, yeah, that should always be the case. But this was like the best case scenario. Seeing as we lost game one, they would have had the chance to look at our Exile Zone. They didn't see any creatures aside from Tamio. They didn't see any white removal. That's not to say they couldn't piece things together that maybe we do have that coming in now, but this was the best. We gave ourselves the best shot we could. We don't want Nihil Spellbomb. I don't think so anyways. Let's board out the Doomsday package. Now, Consider is the card that took the spot of the Spellbomb in the other, like against Dimir. So right now I have a Consider that could be, I guess, a Force of Negation. I don't know which card is strongest. I think it's probably Consider, to be honest. Like, going up to 5 forces versus the Tempo deck doesn't seem ideal. Alright. And, oh man, this is beautiful. This gets us basics and cantrips. We need to find basic planes at some point, and probably removal, but, I mean, this is a really decent hand. Okay, if they have a Delver here, if they can flip it, that's also gonna crank up the volume here. Okay, basic planes, love that for me. Now I am just interested in finding white spells, I think. Have all my 3 basics. And there is a Plow and a Bauble to trigger Mentor eventually. And Teferi, yes please. Okay, let's draw the Plow. Not for certain that we want to be plowing this Delver. Let's see. Did not flip. Hopefully that means a land and not another creature. Okay, they cast a Brainstorm. The Swords to Plowshares, the most valuable target I can have on, for that is probably Murktide. That's the... I guess Teferi bounces Murktide as well, so... Being in white, we have options. I'm just used to, like, when I pivot to a creature plan in Dimir Doomsday, it's like Murktide is the hardest to deal with thing. They did drop a fetch land here. They probably will shuffle this if it's something they don't need in either case. I think I'm okay giving them 2 more life and then seeing the card that they might draw. Let's see. Pyroblast. Yeah, I guess I'll plow now. There's a theoretical chance that a counter war could break out here, and I don't want them to have the Pyroblast. They Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Okay, I think I let that go. They draw Pyroblast. I take 3, I'm down to 15 here. I know I'm drawing a Bauble. I think I Brainstorm here, just give them a chance to spew a spell. I don't think they'll take the bait, but I would love for them to Pyroblast this. Or Daze, like both cards are kind of problematic for me. But them pitching Force to that Force gives me high hopes that Monastery Mentor can actually resolve. That they don't have another Force of Will. Okay. This is good. Let's put back Teferi and Ponder. I think. Yeah, and then I draw the Ponder, and then I cast Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal lets me play Monastery Mentor around a Daze. If they have a third Force of Will, it has to be Force of Will, not Force of Negation here, then that's pretty brutal. But if they don't, okay, I'm gonna trigger the Mentor right now. If they have Bolt, they can try and Bolt, then I can Force, then they Pyroblast, then I can Brainstorm. Or rather, I'd have to do it the other way around, I guess. They have Lightning Bolt. So what happens? If I Brainstorm here, then Mentor is a 3/3. And then if I Force, then even if they Pyroblast, he gets to be a 4/4. Let's try that. If nothing else, I'm trading a Lotus Petal for a 1/1 Prowess, which I think might be worth it here. They have Daze plus we know the Pyroblast, but if they have Daze, it's iffy. But even with the Daze, we still get to save Mentor here, and then we untap and can Teferi. Yeah, thinking about it here, I think maybe if I could do it over again, I would put Teferi back, or rather, I would put Ponder back. So I would draw the Ponder. They Daze. Okay. So what happens if I Force of Will the Daze? Then they Pyroblast the Force. It all kind of comes out to the same thing. Do I want to protect my Mentor with a Force? I think I do. Okay, I'm gonna Force of Will pitching the Daze. So now, Mentor is a 4/4 when the Lightning Bolt resolves. Obviously, if they have a second Lightning Bolt, but then they don't have Pyroblast. Something that could really wreck us here would be them untapping into, I guess, like Murktide. But I do have Teferi coming. They would need another Daze then, and they can't have everything, right? Okay, Force of Will. The question now is, do I get to cast this Brainstorm, basically? Do they want to Pyroblast that? We could totally still lose here. I mean, I am at 14 life. I'm untapping, or they are untapping into an attack for 3 down to 11. Okay, they are fetching. I really want them to Pyroblast here. I don't want them to have Pyroblast for when I try to play Jace next turn. Jace, I mean Teferi. Alright, so if they have second Bolt here, then that's really annoying. At least I'm getting like 3 monks. That's not nothing. But then they do untap with like a Pyroblast, but I don't know what's going on here. It's taking forever. They did have a second bolt. Grosserino. Okay. So Mentor is gone. They've spent 2 bolts here. What do I even take here? I guess do I try and race? Like me getting stuck with a force of will in my hand is pretty bad. But I guess I get to draw everything because of Bobble. Yeah, all right. So let's we keep the force, and then their hand is a land plus lightning bolt. No, sorry, pyroblast plus brainstorm. Damn. Yeah, unfortunately, like if the next card down wasn't Lotus Petal, but if it had been a blue card, then I would feel pretty decent with this Jace coming down, bouncing the Insectile Aberration. But I think I am somewhat behind here. Another creature here would be scary, but then the creature at least means no Pyroblast. Alright, so we're drawing a Lotus Petal here, and then we're drawing after that blindly. I think I'm gonna just trigger here and attack for 6, and then see if I can spike a blue card next turn. Because blue card gets me Jace, I keep saying Jace, Teferi. That gets all my monks up to 6 power, and then if they Pyroblast, I force. That's another 3. That would mean an attack for 9. And then, like, Teferi bounces something. Unholy Heat. Okay, well, I have to let that go. That changes things. But I mean, like, a white removal spell here would be really good. So we have good draws here. We are losing the race currently. Ponder. Okay, that's a little risky, right? They have to find a red source here. They shuffle. Oh, damn. Alright, well, we know the jig here. Oh. Well, this is still going to be pretty close. But that was not a bad draw. Alright, so we attack for 2. They go in a 9. Next turn, if I just cast Teferi, that means I'm attacking 4 to 4, 2, 4, 7. Problem is if they find something like Murktide. Okay, they don't. They put days in. I guess Murktide, we still try and resolve the Teferi. Okay, we go to 5. And they pass the turn. Come on, blue card or something else. Prismatic Ending, that's also really good. Okay, Prismatic Ending this. That wins the game for us. I'm not gonna like play Teferi just to get lethal triggers on the stack. Because then if their hand is like Bolt plus Pyroblast, then that's pretty bad. But that was a very good draw. And now they go to 1 life. I don't know, maybe I should have. I don't know. We'll see. We'll know. They'll know right now if the game is up. Yeah, brainstorm happens. I don't believe they can. Like, I guess if they find Bolt, and a land to cast all 3. But yeah, never mind. The Pyroblast as well. All right, sweet. Wow, that was intense. We get there. Sweet. 3-1. Let's go for the final round. All right, final round on the play. 3, like the positive record is ensured. Now it's about whether or not we get to 4-1 or if it's a 3-2. I think I'm gonna mulligan this hand. It's sort of a little bit too discombobulated, and I'll keep this. And I'll bottom a. It really depends here. I think I'm gonna bottom Force of Will, but I was close. It was close between that and Dark Ritual because I don't want to pitch this Teferi. I almost said Jace again. I don't want to pitch this Teferi. I would much rather be able to cast. Okay, Fox Theater. So this is like, I would guess it's either Rakdos Reanimator, which I don't think it is. It might be the Epic Storm, or it might be Grixis Control, or it could be that Rakdos. I've come up against like a Rakdos uh, cutter, whatever it's called, Core Steel Cutter. Yeah, okay, Badlands. I think I go for the Surveil here. It's a little bit sus if they're on Wastelands, but another Force of Will. I think I have to bottom that or Surveil that away. I mean, on land or Doomsday, but neither. Okay, I'll pass. And I'm just completely smoked here if they Wasteland me. Okay, Ancient Tomb. So what does that mean? It's goblins. Goblin Matron. Okay, that resolves. Oh, this is not a matchup I am up for playing against. So if they have Cavern of Souls, they can like really get me next turn. They do get the Muxus. Like Doomsday right now, then I feel like I probably still win. A land gets me Teferi, though. Minusing Teferi to bounce this Matron, not really where you want to be at, right? So I think I will plus Teferi for now. And hopefully they can't take him to like deal him 2 damage next turn. And also like Muxus can't come through a cavern this turn, I don't think. They would need, I'm not sure what they would need to make the red mana. Or just make the mana. Okay. Ringleader. That is a way that Teferi gets dealt with. I'm going to force this while the forcing's good. I know this means they can just, like, they probably can get to Muxus next turn, but it's not guaranteed, and this is still kind of interesting. Come on, Doomsday. Doomsday. Another Teferi. Alright, I think I actually do bounce this Matron here. I'm not too worried now about what they might get. I think I'm gonna cycle this Unearth here. Oh, there's Doomsday. No, now I wish I hadn't cycled the Unearth. Then I would have drawn the next turn and I have double Dark Ritual. Okay, well, it is what it is. We might still, like, draw a cantrip here. That's also not Muxus mana. Bombardiers, okay. Bombardiers probably kills Teferi. Like, a land that makes white mana, I think, might just do it here. Will it? So we have 3 lands, that becomes 5, becomes 7 mana. And so, no, I don't think it's good enough. Because the remaining mana will be black. I could just try and, like, Teferi bounce Bombardiers, draw a card. And if that card is like any cantrip, then that I think is good enough. I think I'm gonna do that. Like if that card or the card next turn is a cantrip. This is basically just paying 3 mana to take some damage off the board and cycle. Land not ideal. I'm guessing Muxus is coming. No, another Bombardiers, or rather the same. They did have Muxus mana and an Ignoble Hierarch, sure. Teferi number 2 made a noble sacrifice and now is dead. That's not good. Am I just dead next turn? Let me just reread Muxus here. Like, he doesn't have haste, right? They might just flip over a bunch of hasty stuff or stuff that gives all goblins haste. And they can attack and then throw Muxus for, is this +2? Yes, they can throw Muxus for 8 damage if they want to. I guess, do I play out this land or not? I think I'm gonna hang on to the land. Like, if I draw land next turn anyways, then I'm dead. Like, I need to draw something that draws a spell or like draws a card. All right, looks like it's Muxus time. A Muxus for the rest of us. And they flip over What is this? Whenever another creature enters, deals damage. Why did that oh, because multiple things entered. Okay. And now they get to matron as well. I do have the days. If this comes into, are they able to put this into play? I don't think so, right? I'm at 16. I go, if this attacks, I go to 50 to 13. Oh, I guess this also. Yikes. Yep. All right. I take a bunch of damage, and then they can throw muxes if they want to. This is 4/4. I take 5. I'm at 10. They throw muxes. I'm at 2. Is that something they'd be interested in doing? It is. All right. I'm at 2. Brainstorm. Pretty please. With sugar on top. That is not brainstorm. Okay. We concede, and like with the Ocelot Pride deck, I don't think I want like a lot of removal spells here. I do think I want the Terminus. And I wonder if I am supposed to also want like a couple of removal spells and one mentor like before. Doesn't like mentor, it doesn't seem like you would want a mentor to like gum up the ground versus like that's their deck is just so good at that. But sometimes decks like that board into like very reactionary stuff, and they're sitting on like a bunch of pyroblasts and I don't know, like a mindbreak trap or whatever. Okay, I think a Thoughtseize could come out. I think a Flusterstorm can come out, and I don't expect them to have Caracas, but I still think I board out one Tameo and maybe like one Bobble. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, let's go. This doesn't seem right. Let's mulligan. This seems okay. And I don't know that I hate like sitting on like dazing here, so I'm gonna put away the Teferi, and then I'm gonna float an island and have daze plus consider, and then just really hope they're not on like Cavern into Lackey. I could also just try and get to my draw, like draw a mana source off of my draw step, and then mana source plus Lines of Diamond plus the cards in my hand. Carpet of Flowers. Let me try and cast this Consider. Tameo. I think we get rid of Tameo. Wow, that was bad. Yeah, let's daze this. I don't know if they'll, like, if they needed that. How about another land that casts Doomsday? Come on. Oh, God. Okay. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to. Okay, I missed the chance. Maybe I'm supposed to play out the LED there. Just to have a little bit of a better shot at playing underneath the Mindbreak Trap. Okay, interesting. Come on, deck! um, yeah, I'm gonna play the LED. If they want to take a turn out, like artifact removing that, I'm gonna bobble them on. Or does that matter? Yeah, I'm gonna bobble them on their turn. I mean, I have the Flusterstorm to fight over a discard spell, Munitions Expert. That's good to know about. So we cannot have Thassa enter with the cards in our deck. And they're passing. Okay. Draw a card. Still no land. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. This doesn't get under Mindbreak Trap, but we have Flusterstorm, so hopefully they don't have double Mindbreak Trap. Okay, we need Cavern of Souls because they are probably sitting on something like Pyroblast. Do we need the Unearth in case they remove the Thassa? Probably not. Let's get Consider. Do we want Force of Will in case Flusterstorm isn't good enough? And then what? We put something in the... We consider away something here. Maybe the Unearth. So put Consider on top, cycle Street Wraith into that, cast it, get rid of Unearth, draw Force of Will, then untap, draw Edge of Autumn and Cavern of Souls. Yeah, let's try that. They might Pyroblast the Consider, in which case getting Unearth into our hand is not the best. So maybe that should have been a Ponder or something. But it's probably fine. So we put Unearth on top of Force, and then with Consider on top of that, and we pass. They could have Surgical Extraction, I guess. That would be kind of annoying. Munitions Expert. Okay, I think I'm going to take this time to cast this Consider. Right now, my guard is down if they have Mindbreak Trap. Okay. So now we have to not get Thoughtseized and not like lose the game next turn. Need them to not have like Choke plus something that deals with Force of Will. They could have Disruptor Flute now. Disruptor Flute plus Pyroblast gets them there. They are just passing. This would be when you flute, I think. They could have Endurance. They are green with like green cards in the sideboard. Yeah, and this is where like they had 4 turns here and they have a 1/1 in play. Like the deck that tries to go hard on creatures. So this is where like Mentor is also like pretty fine. Is he a lot finer than maybe Teferi is just not that nice here. So if I board in the second Mentor and a second Plow, now I have 3 white spot removal spells and a Terminus. Alright, cool. Yeah, keep this all day long. Just don't Thoughtseize me, please. And then I can... Ah, there's Lackey. Okay. Okie doke. No, Wasteland. Yeah, Wasteland. that was the card I was thinking about. Wasteland here would be potentially pretty awkward. But I'm gonna fetch Tundra probably and cast Brainstorm. Because here comes a Lackey. They might just Muxus me here. Which is obviously terrifying. Yep. There's Muxus. Muxarino. Broadside Bombardiers. That won't get to do its thing. Matron. And the Munitions Expert. Okay, could have been worse. The Matron getting another thing here is pretty bad. But Sling Gang is not castable anytime soon. As long as they don't drop a Wasteland here, I'm happy. That's not a Wasteland. Okay. So they could Pyroblast this Brainstorm, but if they do, then I can untap. Then I have the second Brainstorm. Yeah, that sounded better in my head than it. Yeah. Sorry, I am rambling here. They do have the Pyroblast, it seems. Okay. So now I think I have to draw another either Brainstorm or a Cycler. So let's... Or a Bauble. Yeah, so I have 2 Brainstorms, 2 Baubles, and 2 Cyclers. That's six cards that I have to see one of them in my top 3. What's the damage here? I have to get rid of the Muxus. Then all the triggers happen, like the Lackey puts in the Sling Gang. Sling Gang, how many does he bring with him? 2. I'm just trying to figure out if I am actually dead here. So I take 1 2, 3, 4, 5 damage from combat. That takes me to 13. Then Sling Gang enters. I'm at 13. They can throw the Sling Gang with broadside. That would take me to 9. And then they would have 2 goblins. They would have to do it in a reverse order, but I think I might still survive at that point. All right, let's put away Thoughtseize. Don't want that. And then the Terminus. And then I'll float this. Oh, never mind. I already made my land drop. Then I'll plow this Muxus here. That absolutely has to happen. Yeah, and we'll pass. I don't think I'm surviving this, unfortunately. But if I survive to at least like resolve Terminus, even if I end up losing the game, I'll be kind of happy. What's this? Start your engines. Other goblins you control have haste. At the beginning, create a 1/1. Okay, I think that might just do it for them. Oh, that guy doesn't get haste himself. Okay. Alright. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can deal me 8. And then they just throw this guy for 5 more, or for 2 more. Yeah. Yeah, they have lethal. They just need to realize it, which I'm sure they will. And I'm dead. Alright, GG's opponent. Alright, a 3-2 record. We beat the 3 blue decks, we lost to the 2 non-blue decks. And that probably should give us some kind of indication on the strengths and weaknesses of this deck. I definitely felt way weaker versus like the non-blue stuff. And that Ocelot Pride deck is like I think one of the places where having a card like Tamiyo in your deck as Doomsday is a liability. I mean, obviously that came very true because they also had the Caracas, but even without the Caracas, it's like I think I am pretty like have a pretty solidly positive record versus the Ocelot Pride deck on Dimir Turbo Doomsday, because with 4 personal tutors and 4 Doomsday, there's just a very high chance that you'll be able to outrun them in game 1, and then they don't have a lot for you in game 2. But if you give them turns, if you like let the game go on for multiple turns, then suddenly it becomes pretty difficult. With goblins, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, in principle, it's kind of the same. Um, it was kind of close. Like, if you know, we almost got away with one there with the Terminus and stuff, but hey, didn't come true. But I really enjoyed, really enjoyed the games versus the blue decks, and I think the white cards are just lovely. And yeah, so I think that's probably it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, please, if you like the channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video, all that stuff. It really actually does help. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.